Imagine how big it all is. It's like,
that's just it.
I can go on about it forever.
We don't know what we don't know. That's the
Right.
majority of our pie of what we know, what we think we know, and then like what we don't even know we don't know.
Exactly.
All right, rounding this hour out, and we will be back with another jam-packed hour. That first hour flew by. Much more to come, more headlines following some live events. Still, is the senator still talking?
Still speaking.
Wow.
I was just double-check that for you.
Okay.
So it's coming up here on 18 hours.
All right,
so.
sounds good. Well, we'll continue to follow all of that here when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. It is 1 o'clock on this Wednesday, day of the Timberwolves season opener. Not till 9 o'clock tonight, so if you can get a nap in, get a nap in if you think you need one. It's going to be a late night for a lot of folks, but a good one. Can't wait. NBA season started last night. Pretty decent stuff. Yeah, so lots to talk about. Andrew Dukowitz will be here in a little while toward the end of this hour to bring us up to speed on what we can expect from those Trailblazers, those sneaky Trailblazers. And then it's on to LA to play the Lakers, and then finally home for the first home game on Sunday for the Wolves. All right, let's get you caught up on some of the headlines here at the top of this hour. Of course, starting with the very latest on the government shutdown, because there are things happening, but just not the things that Americans want, which is an end to the shutdown. It is day 22. No vote yesterday. There was not a scheduled vote. And the Senate is scheduled to vote for a 12th time today on this bill that would essentially reopen the government and fund it through November 21st. This is a bill, if you remember, it passed more than a month ago now in the House. Republicans and Democrats have just been at this standstill. They can't get to that 60-vote threshold to reopen the government, and there's not been a lot of movement in the last several votes as far as more Democrats coming over to that side to push it up to 60. Today, Democrats ended up asking President Trump for a meeting to negotiate on their health care demands, but the president is saying that he will only meet once the government reopens, so that's kind of where we are. We'll see what time a vote happens, if it happens today. A little bit up in the air because, and if we want to take a shot, I don't know if we have a shot of the Senate floor right now.
Russian cosmonauts.
Okay, so this is Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, right now Democrat. And I believe what's happening, and maybe Natalie can correct me if I'm wrong, but Senator Jeff Merkley, who's a Democrat from Oregon, has been up there talking for now more than 18 hours. And it kind of goes back and forth where he'll talk for a while and then others will come up and ask long questions, maybe to give him a little bit of a break, and then he'll come back up. But this has been going on now since last night. Was it 6:30 p.m. last night? Yeah, shortly before. So the time here being used to really protest the Trump administration and President Trump in his first 9 months here into his second term. They've had some visuals, some green poster boards and things like that they've been using with very specific criticisms. And then you might remember Democratic Senator Cory Booker did something similar. He actually ended up setting a record on the Senate floor for a speech earlier this year. It was 25 hours plus, 25 hours, 5 minutes, also in protest of the Trump administration. So we're kind of seeing that similar pattern. On the other side of things, with the GOP, just a couple of hours ago, we did hear from Republican leaders. We heard from House Speaker Mike Johnson, among others, talking about the showdown, now the second longest in history. You may remember the longest was 35 days. That was during President Trump's first term. So House Speaker Mike Johnson continuing to blame Democrats. Of course, the Republicans, the Democrats are blaming Republicans. He believes that the Republicans, there's just a lot here, right? Back and forth, back and forth. Let me get it straight. So Mike Johnson, the Republican, is saying that he believes the Democrats are doing this for the wrong reasons. So this news conference happened a few hours ago. Also heard from a Congressman, Bruce Westerman of Arkansas. He was one of many who kind of talked about the impact that the shutdown is having as well. So we will continue to follow that. One of the impacts that is about to kick in here in Minnesota, if the shutdown does not end soon, has to do with SNAP. And Ramsey County actually put out an announcement letting folks know that SNAP and also Minnesota Family Investment Program food benefits will not be issued. Here's that announcement starting November 1st, which is right around the corner. So starting November 1st until the shutdown is over, those programs would not be happening. The funding would not be there. So tonight, there is an opportunity, if you would like, to go to Cottage Grove and you want to ask some questions about federal cuts, specifically to SNAP, maybe to Medicaid. This will be at the Town Hall in Cottage Grove. It is hosted by State Senator Judy Seeberger and Washington County Commissioner Carla Bingham. They're going to be focusing on this, the cuts across counties and states, and what Minnesotans might experience as a result. 5:30 to 6:30 tonight, Town Hall meeting in Cottage Grove at the Town Hall. So there you go. There's an opportunity to maybe weigh in and get some answers if you have some questions. All right, something that we're watching in St. Paul as the City Council gets ready to meet here in just a couple of hours, as they do this time of day, usually. I think it's on Wednesdays. They're going to be looking at a couple things that kind of caught our attention. One is something that is more symbolic than anything else, but it is an introduction of a gun violence prevention ordinance. Again, the city can't enforce this under state law. Only state lawmakers can or give the city's permission to do so. So the ordinance that St. Paul is putting forward would ban possession of assault weapons, large capacity magazines, binary triggers within the city of St. Paul. Also, ghost guns would be against the law, and all guns would require serial numbers. So state law does prevent individual cities from having their own firearm bans. We've seen a group of metro area mayors, Minneapolis, St. Paul, others, come together and say, then essentially give us the permission to make these changes within our own cities. So they're going to be putting that forward at the city council meeting today. Also happening at that same city council meeting, an opportunity for people to weigh in on a proposed designation for the Hams Brewery to be named as a heritage preservation site. 2-minute limit, public comment. If you want to go weigh in, go ahead and do that. You got 2 minutes each. That brewery founded, it was 1865 when it was founded. It's in that Dayton's Bluff neighborhood, and it's about 23 acres of land. And so those who are pushing this say that it would open up that site for rehabilitation, and it could look completely different. All right, let's see. Ooh, this is another one too. This is a biggie. Keeping our eye on this. So a development last night that now sets us up for the potential for an educator strike in Minneapolis. The union for teachers, paras, and others is the Minneapolis Federation of Educators. And they say that last night they tried and they failed again. Nobody could reach an agreement on their a tentative agreement. So with the district. So starting tomorrow, and it's going to last for 4 days, so the 23rd to the 27th, they're going to start voting to authorize a strike. That does not mean that it guarantees a strike, but if they do vote and it is approved, then the union gives Minneapolis Public Schools at least 10 days notice before a strike would begin. So there are a couple of different contracts here for teachers, for educational support professionals, paras, also adult educators in the district as well. So we're keeping an eye on that as the voting will start tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll have much more on that starting tomorrow morning on our Fox 9 Morning News. Okay, ooh, charges. This came down late this morning. Let's talk about this one here quickly. We now have charges that have been filed against a Fridley man. Oh, sorry, I switched around on you. Sorry, you guys, I'm jumping around. Okay, thank you for rolling with me here. Really quickly, charges filed against a Fridley man who police believe threw Molotov cocktail-style explosives at Fletcher's ice cream shop in Northeast Minneapolis, not once but twice. So it looks like the charges are for 30-year-old for Mosa Ahmed Umar, who faces these 2 counts of arson, the attacks October 19th and 20th. Surrounding community has rallied behind the business. The charges say that this person, later identified as Umar, was seen throwing lit Molotov cocktails through a window at the business, and then the next day on the 20th, also that afternoon, just before 1 o'clock, received another report of the same thing. Don't know anything about a motive yet, but the charges are there for that 30-year-old man. All right, let's go back here. I'm jumping around. Let's go to Shakopee really quick. Big story in Shakopee, big. FEMA is giving Shakopee, the fire department specifically, $2.5 million as part of a Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response grant program. Headline here, 3-year grant. They're going to be able to hire 12 additional full-time firefighters. They're calling it a transformational moment for the fire department and public safety. The city administrator saying they just keep growing. The city keeps growing, and the emergency services need to keep up. So this is a huge win for that fire department, and hopefully we can connect with them here in the next couple of days and maybe talk about this a little bit more with them. But wanted to let you know that is something that's happening in Shakopee. And then, let's see, do we want to do this really quickly? Yeah, no? Do we want to? Okay, just really quickly, I think I literally only have one line in here, but it looks like, as it pertains to Gaza and the ceasefire, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, we just learned, is now headed to Israel to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, hoping to be one of a series of people with the Trump administration now to help shore up this ceasefire deal. We know that Vice President J.D. Vance, I believe, still may be there, has been there, and has been speaking with Prime Minister Netanyahu as well. So that continues. Okay. Oh, can you jump in here, Natalie? Can you help me out with the next couple of stories? Do you, Natalie? Natalie, hi.
Yes, hi.
Yes.
Just take
Sorry, I never know if you're super busy.
No.
I have to have, I have to have like a producer cam where I can just like off to the side be like, oh, they're busy. I better not bug them.
I'm over here.
Yeah, I know that happens a lot. Amber will tell me after the show, she'll be like, you know when you were asking me if your hair was sticking out sideways? And she's like, I was doing this, and this. And I was like, I'm sorry. You guys are very busy back there.
I know one time when I was filling in for Amber, you said something to me and I was like, like, I have no idea what Amy's talking about right now because I am trying to get this Zoom interview or whatever.
I know.
But no, we're good.
Okay, we're good.
We're good right now.
Well,
but this is a story we've been talking, you and I have been talking about for a couple days.
Yeah, so you also, for folks who don't know, you also produce our 5 p.m. newscast, which I'm lucky enough to be a part of. Also used to produce the 11 a.m., which I was lucky enough to be a part of.
Been together for a long time. Amy.
Yeah, we really have. And so we've been talking about this, and you put it in the 5 o'clock yesterday too, but so many people are talking about this Louvre story.
I know.
Okay, so what's the latest? Are they?
So the latest is it reopened today. So to bring everybody up to speed, I'm sure most people have heard of this, but on Sunday there was this super dramatic robbery of the Louvre. More than $100 million worth of historic jewels stolen from the Louvre, and this was all done in under 8 minutes, and they were inside the Louvre for only 4 minutes.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but
we know in TV 4 minutes can be a long time.
It can be an eternity, or it can also go by just like that, depending upon. But I would think
for
in this
them
situation,
it probably seemed, I don't know.
Like 4 minutes seems like an eternity inside a museum when you are trying to steal these crown jewels. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems like a really long time that there was no response.
Especially because yesterday they came out and said that all of the security precautions were working. All of the cameras were working. The alarm went off. So what they did was they used like a crane or like a truck with a ladder, and they went up that and they broke a window, went in, stole the jewels, and then fled. And when they broke the window, the alarm went off right away.
Okay.
And then they were inside for 4 minutes. So then it took 4 minutes for someone to come, I guess.
I've never been there, but I'm guessing it's spacious, and they probably had to get there. But also,
and police were on scene within just a couple minutes from a witness calling. So just really fast, really crazy. But it reopened today to visitors, so there were huge lines outside, people waiting to get inside. But yeah, really historic pieces of jewelry stolen.
It's like Napoleon's. It was from like Napoleon and
crown jewels.
Crown jewels, yeah. Wow.
And yeah, they're worried now that they're going to be lost forever because a lot of these, they're saying these are super professional jewel thieves, and they when they do heists like this, they take them and they break up the diamonds, they break up the gems, and make them into different necklaces or bracelets or whatever, sell them as smaller gems. And
I think we'd be shocked if they if it showed up intact.
I'm sure they did it right away. So
interesting stuff. Alrighty. Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's see.
That's that update.
All right. Well, there you go. Opening back up today. Interesting stuff. How are we? Do we want to take a break?
I think let's go to break.
Okay, let's do it. Let's take a break, and then we're on schedule here to interview the latest in our series of candidates for mayor in the city of St. Paul today. Yan Chen is on tap to join us here shortly. So let's take a break and come right back, and we'll take a look at your weather as well. See you back here.
Playing with the cloud cover from morning to the afternoon as we break free of this cloud cover. Again, it's not a linear path as we chunk it all up across the better part of our Wednesday, but at least it's not as gusty or as crazy windy as yesterday. Yeah, we have some occasional puffy breezes, but morning clouds give way to some brighter conditions. We played cat and mouse with that cloud cover and sunshine over the course of our morning. It's broken free and then it's gotten thick again. Broken free and gotten thick, but with that churning atmosphere becoming less churning through the afternoon hours, well, we'll see more and more of that sun peek on by. Going for a high around 50 today. Still a bit breezy at times with northwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour, but not as gusty as yesterday's 40+ mile per hour wind gust. Today, the gusts to 20 plusers here and there, but again, aiming for 50 by the end of the afternoon. Tomorrow, crisp. Chilly 30s in the morning with an afternoon high of 52. Relatively peaceful and quiet, though, tomorrow. Nice sunshine top to bottom of the day, whereas today's work to get the sky open as the day wears on, and your mileage will vary there. Tomorrow's plenty of sunshine. Same thing Friday, but with a southern flow, warmer, highs in the upper 50s. Here come the 60s into Saturday and Sunday. Nice days there, well above average by a good 10 degrees over the weekend. Feeling wonderful for the last weekend of October. And then back to the 50s heading into next week as some rain chances return into Monday and Tuesday. Fox 9 All Day Live continues. We're back right after the break.
Welcome back to All Day Live. It is 1:18 in the afternoon here on a Wednesday, and we're glad that you're with us. This week we are spending some time with candidates running for mayor of St. Paul. Monday we talked with Mike Hilborn. Yesterday it was Adam Dellinger. And today it's Yan Chen. And tomorrow Kaliher. Melvin Carter's campaign has not responded. It's the same format as last week when we interviewed candidates in Minneapolis. It's 10 minutes, timed, live. Topics were sent out ahead of time, but then I'll be asking questions specific to each candidate. And we've just asked that they not criticize other candidates because there is no opportunity to respond. So again, today's candidate is Yan Chen, a scientist and business owner. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Amy, for having me.
And we will, I'll keep time here. I've got a timer, I've got a producer kind of keeping time, and we'll let you know where we're at throughout our conversations. And I've been telling everybody if answers are like 30 seconds to about a minute, we should be able to get through about the same number of questions. So, so we'll start your time now, and we will start with public safety and policing. So what should the city's highest priorities be when it comes to public safety?
Well, I think we definitely need to deal with petty crime, right? Petty crime, it sounds a nuisance, but on the other hand, it's a fabric for our society. If we don't deal with petty crime, we wouldn't be able to prevent the crime. Petty crime is a symbol, it's a symptom. Somebody is in stress. Somebody doesn't know how to manage his life, and he's making mistake. So that's the time the society needed to step in and dealing with petty crime.
So crime, and then specifically starting with kind of petty crime is where you would want to start. Are you satisfied with how St. Paul Police Chief Axel Henry is running the department?
I'm very satisfied with him, absolutely. The reason why is he is actually very engaged in community. From all what I can observe, he is doing an excellent job. But right now, the issue is the bottleneck is not on him. In my opinion, the bottleneck is at the state level and at the county level. Right? I think if you think about America, what the tools we're lacking for public safety, I would say is learning how to do rehabilitation. Because America is a very free society, and people can make a mistake, and they will make a mistake. And so here is the point, it's so important we learn how to rehabilitation, and that's really county and the state job.
Okay, so you're saying that's where the bottleneck is, state and county, and then rehabilitation would be a focus of yours. We talked earlier about the city putting forth a gun ordinance today, kind of a symbolic ban on assault weapons, binary triggers, ghost guns. Again, symbolic move because the lawmakers at the state level are the only ones who can make this change. If measures like this don't move forward at the state level, what's your plan to address gun violence in St. Paul?
I think you already hit the nail at its head, right? It's symbolic. And my administration, I was trying to avoid symbolic movement. Let's using the tool we have and solve the problem immediately with the tools we have. And what tools we have, I think I already mentioned to you, is really preventing crime, identify issue before it become escalated. And so that's really, I think we can do better. In fact, St. Paul Police Department is doing an excellent job. I think this morning I read the report, St. Paul actually reducing the violent crime by 70%. That's excellent achievement. It shows by preventing the crime, actually you can do a lot to prevent the future violent crime.
So prevention and rehabilitation when it comes to public safety are two things that you would be behind, okay? You would stand behind. Let's talk about the economy just a little bit, and we're just over 3 minutes in, so just under about 7 minutes. Last month, the city of St. Paul started tearing down the vacant CVS at Snelling and University after years of complaints about drugs and vandalism. If this space eventually becomes an asset to that neighborhood, what would be your plans to keep that ball rolling in the Midway neighborhood?
So I think, again, let's figure out the problem in that neighborhood, right? I think that neighborhood is really, CBS is really the result, not the symptom, not the cause. And the cause is really, I think, that the crime situation. I think that really simplifies what happened to Cup Foods. They just closed. And so it has nothing to do with the management. Of course, you always can blame on the management. It can do bad. Absolutely, any business can do bad. But the problem is with business, their goal is always making profit. And that's realistic, that's what they need to focus on. But I think it is very important for our government to focus on what we can do to nourish the environment. And so crime is a big issue. We have to deal with heads on.
Staying with the economy, St. Paul residents are facing one of the largest property tax increases in recent memory. The city's poorest neighborhoods will be hit especially hard. So specifically, what plan do you have to help reduce that tax burden?
Yeah, so basically, as I come back to the issue why I even decided to run for mayor, right? Really naively, in the beginning, 3 years ago, I opened our city budget the first time. And what I saw in the budget alarmed me. Because as a scientist, I plotted the data since 2008. And when I look at the trajectory, I look at the spending and I look at the revenue, both in the wrong direction. And at that moment, I already can make a prediction that is our property tax going to getting hit because that's the easiest part of money to go for it. And that's irresponsibility, right? Because we cannot do that to residents. Residents, I mean, how many people were willing to do that, to study the budget, to keep an eye on the government like this level? So that's what really alarmed me and make me keep going forward. Here's the good news. We can do it. We don't need to keep increased tax, and we can improve our service. That's why I put on my YASA, right? Because I did 3 years of study our city budget and look at the ground situation, see what's our performance. And when I'm analyzing our performance versus our budget, I think we can do a lot better. So in my administration, it will be really performance driven. So every program, because that's mayor's job, mayor in charge is 3,000 employees, and there will be a lot of variety of programs. So for us, we can look at individual program, think about, is this program effective? If they're effective, are they efficient? So by looking at this and compare with neighboring city, because I can tell you with confidence, I studied the other cities' budget, and the other city can do better. Sometimes it's a small city, sometimes it's really equivalent in size as our city. We all can do better. So I think it's time for being innovative, to look outside of the box and don't keep doing the same thing and hope the result will be different. One thing I love to say is let's stop rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic. Let's figure out the root cause and do things differently.
Okay, three minutes left. I wanted to ask you about the public school system. St. Paul, heavily diverse school district. What are the biggest challenges facing the classrooms right now?
Like what you said, that's already very clear, right? Because the diversity is our strength, but if we don't know how to manage it, we don't serve the student right. And the diversity is in the core, but I think that's really the issue. When you give such a diverse student body to a teacher, at the end of the day, we ignore the lower performance student, and we also ignore that the student has high performance. And this is not acceptable. So I think diversity is really very crucial. We need to learn how to deal with it. And that's, again, the innovation. We don't need to do the same thing over again with the ideology. Everybody has to achieve everything at the same time. Let's look at the issue. I think there is no point to keep kids pushing forward when they even don't have the basic math reading skill. Let's make sure we focus on this basic skill. Then also, we don't need to make every kid achieve to become college bound. Why? There's no reason. So let's focus on the student, what's their strengths and what's their weakness. Because all of them will have a different one. And let's focus on their strengths, amplify them, and provide them tools to help them moving forward.
Okay, we have 60 seconds left. Could you just tell us a little bit more? What do you want people to know about you as a person?
Well, I guess one of the things, I'm a scientist, right? Because I think it is very unique why scientists want to be in this position. I'm an introvert too, but I'm changing, I'm learning. I think the important part I really want people to learn is, as a scientist, we are much more performance driven. Every experiment I do, I look at the result, I think about it, I reflect on what I learn, and then I adapt, I change it. So I think that's one thing I really love about America, the freedom, have the ability to reinvent yourself and do new things. And I think that's really what I want people to remember, scientists are not...
Thank you. Just a few seconds left. So thank you for your time, candidate Yan Chen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right.
That's great. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's see. Let's go here and see if we want to. Do you want to take a quick break, Nat? And we'll come on back. Okay, perfect. Let's do that. Much more to come here on All Day Live. Stay with us. Let's have 30 more minutes of stuff, and we are really just watching a lot of things in motion right now. So we'll get you up to speed on all of that. Talk about the Timberwolves we'll get there eventually. The season opener is tonight. Home opener is on Sunday. We'll talk about it and much more coming up. Getting you all the information you need to know here on this Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, it's cloudy. Yeah, it's all right. It's still a great day. We're glad you're with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to All Day Live. We want to take you, let's see, we've gone up to Bemidji. We like to cover a lot of different parts of the region. Every day we try to, stretch out our arms a little bit and, and reach out to reach out and touch someone. Remember that commercial? It was a long time ago. It is 1:32, and now we want to take you to the Sherburne National Wildlife Refuge. It's a gem of a place, and we want to check in on the prehistoric birds taking a rest during their southern migration. It's happening right now, mid-October through early November, and thousands of these sandhill cranes are taking refuge right there in the Sherburne wetlands. That's Sam Warren, right? Sam, hi.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
Good. Friends of Sherburne National Wildlife Refuge joining us now. Explain kind of where you are and what we're seeing behind you, and then we'll get into a little bit more detail.
Yeah, so I am at the Sherburne National Wildlife Refuge. I am near County Road 70. If you're looking on a map, I am near the parking lot where you would park kind of if you want to see some sandhill cranes flying over you. So yeah, we kind of have, and if you haven't heard, we have thousands, up to 30,000 sandhill cranes that come in the fall. So Sherburne National Wildlife Refuge is the spot for you to see cranes in Minnesota in the fall.
Sam, it's hard to even imagine in your head like what that must look like, up to 30,000 sandhill cranes at once. I mean, what is this experience like, and how long have you been, part of this and going out there?
Yeah, so the experience is, quite unlike any other, I should say. The cranes, if you've never heard them, make a super loud, kind of dinosaur, like pterodactyl type call. And so you can imagine 30,000 of them making that call at one time is like surreal. When you're out there in the pool to see them, it's just, they're flying everywhere. You don't even know where to look. And I have been helping. I moved to this area nearby about 3 or 4 years ago, and so I wanted to help out. I have a birding and wildlife biology background, and so I've just been kind of helping with the cranes each fall, helping with their sandhill celebration in October.
So tell us about the migration pattern for those who don't know, and the role that Sherburne plays in all of this.
Yeah, so the sandhill cranes, some of them will breed in Minnesota, but some of them also go farther north into Canada and maybe even Alaska. Sherburne is home to the eastern population of sandhill cranes. We have what's called the greater sandhill crane. It's a subpopulation or subspecies, not the lesser. And we are incredibly important because largely in the fall, the sandhill cranes will group up so they can migrate south into warmer temperatures, and they have all these stopover sites. They are very specific and need, of course they need food, water, and shelter, but when they're sleeping for their shelter, they want a very specific depth of water, generally about 18 inches. And so the Sherburne National Wildlife Refuge has 30,000 acres and provides plenty of, the surrounding food, shelter, or food and habitat. And then we also have the water structures where they can nest overnight. And that's really, or I shouldn't say nest. They're not nesting right now, they're sleeping, but that's really where you can see, the 30,000 of them is at the end of, in the mornings or in the evenings when they come in and sleep in that water structure.
Okay, and so tell, like, somebody pulls in today, what are they going to see, or when would you suggest people come if they want kind of to see as much as possible?
Yeah, so this year's a little bit different. Generally, the peak season is about right now, end of October, early November. Because we had such a warm start to fall, they are just kind of starting to come in. We do have a couple, like thousands still here, but it has been a little bit slower. So if you're coming to it during the day, I would suggest driving around the nearby areas. You're talking about sort of Zimmerman, Princeton, Oric, and in those areas, maybe around Becker, Big Lake on the other side of the refuge, and look in farm fields, in those recently harvested corn and soybean fields. That's where they will be eating during the day. And then at night or in the morning, if you're coming out to the refuge, you can park right here at this parking lot on CR 70. I'll kind of show you what it looks like coming down this way. So you'll park here, and then you'll look straight south, which is right behind me. And you'll see tons of sandhill cranes flying over and going to that roosting location, which is the St. Francis Pool at the refuge. You can't, unfortunately, get there by car. So you either have to hike in, which is totally fine, or use an e-bike. Or you can usually, the refuge staff run crane tours, but right now, of course, with the government being shut down, those are not being run. So normally you could sign up for one of those tours and then you could drive back there with special permission. But right now we're advising people that the best viewing location is actually at the CR 70 parking lot. So that's your best option. And I actually have some cranes across the field too.
Yeah. Can you show us?
Yeah, it might take me just a minute to get on them with my camera.
You get set. No, take your time. It's as messy as you can be. Don't even worry about us. You just do your thing.
But then you can see some cranes.
I would love to. Yeah.
Yes. Let me adjust it just a tad.
There they are.
Trying to look in here. There we go.
Wow. Almost
so I don't think it'll let me zoom in on my camera, but
wonderful. We can see it.
Yeah, you can kind of see the cranes. It's a little bit blurry, but
Sam, what are they doing? I mean, is it lunchtime or what's happening?
Yes. Yep. It is lunchtime. So they're out there eating the corn. This field was recently harvested. So people that haven't seen them here quite yet, or someone said yesterday they were out here a little bit closer to the road even, which would have been nice, but that's okay. At least you get to see some. But yeah, I know it's coming through a little blurry on your end, but they're out there foraging in the cornfields, and then at night, when they go back to their pool of water, they will even eat things like small invertebrates, frogs, if they're still around, and sometimes they can even eat small mammals when you see them out in the prairie. So
whoa, that's amazing. So really quickly, time of day, like if you were to suggest, okay, I want to go out there and see these, time of day, and then how long, or what's that hike like if you wanted to try that hike? I mean, is it a moderate? Is it kind of tricky, long?
It is a little bit. So let me back up your first question.
Yes.
So the time of day, of course, if they're in a field like this for you to perfectly see, right? Any time midday would be great.
Okay.
And then if you wanted to see, kind of the thousands of them as they start coming down more as it stays cold, then I would go, you need to be there before sunrise, about an hour and a half after sunrise, and then an hour and a half before sunset is really when they start coming in. You can park at this County Road 70. If you do hike in, you can, it's about a 2-mile hike. It can be a little treacherous. I wouldn't advise it for people that have any mobility issues. Otherwise, you can park at a parking lot south a little bit on County Road 16, and you can, if you have an e-bike, there are no motorized vehicles allowed behind there, but if you have an e-bike, you can do that bike ride, and that might be a little bit easier for those that are used to biking.
Interesting. Okay, and then I see something on here about a fundraiser that we want to talk about as well. So what is it? Tell us what this is about.
Yes. So did you want the camera to stay on the cranes?
Either way, yeah, sure. We can keep watching.
Yeah, it's just a little blurry, so I didn't know if you could see. I'm trying to adjust it a bit for you.
I love that you have this thing. Is this just like an attachment on your phone? Oh my goodness.
Yes, so cool. It's an attachment, and my apologies. It's usually a little bit better, but for some reason it won't let me zoom in on my camera. Yeah. Okay. Good. Anyway, yeah. So the fundraiser that we have going on, we've been doing it in October since I think 2020. It's called the Sandhill Celebration, and really we're just trying to get people to be more aware of the cranes and help support them by giving, or even if you can't give any dollar amount, you can share the post or share the website. That really helps. We are doing, the funds go toward conservation of the habitats that these cranes have. Oh, sorry about that. It's really windy.
Oh, you're good.
And also toward educational programs. So running things through the Friends of Sherburne National Wildlife Refuge host this. And so the money is going toward educational programs that we can run and teach people about cranes and other animals and habitats and nature on the refuge, basically just to get people connected to it so that they can come out and enjoy it and use it and keep it for generations as well. So the Sandhill cranes are really a keystone species. Many people come out here to see them. And so it's really an easy way for us to highlight the refuge and its importance, is to say, hey, there are 30,000 cranes here. Come out and see them and help us raise some money to keep this habitat the way it is, and good for the cranes and other animals on the refuge.
Wow. Sam, thank you so much for spending some time with us and for showing us. And this is, again, a snippet of what you could see.
Yes.
And feel free, if you want to take some video and share it with us in the coming days or weeks as things happen more, we would love to show folks what's going on there as well, and kind of keep showing, because I know there's so many people who love, the birds, and this is just such a unique experience. So thanks. Oh, there's some flying feet.
Oh, there were some trumpeter swans that just flew through.
Trumpeter swans. I'm not a birder. Sorry.
It's all right.
Of course, those were trumpeter swans.
Yes.
Thanks, Sam. Really appreciate it. And it's, again, Friends of Sherburne National Wildlife Refuge. If you can't donate, just spread the word and let folks know. And then go on out there. It sounds like a really fun day to maybe take the kids out there and show them something really, really cool. Thanks for your time.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Take care. All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. That was really cool. All right. Let's see. Oh, do we want to try to talk to Corin here? Let's try. Okay. Do you need just a second? Okay. Let's just do that. Natalie's going to pull up Corin here. We checked in with Rob a little bit earlier. Just like to check in with our reporters. As we're getting going, they're also kind of getting going on the stories that they're working on for the day. And a lot of times, we have original content that you're not going to see anywhere else. And so we want to definitely try to highlight some of the things that they're working on. And Corin is working on one such story today. So, Corin, where are that looks familiar. No, wait, that's not our parking lot. No. Okay. I thought maybe you're like Rob, you were in our parking lot because he was just leaving last time. Where are you? And tell us kind of what you're working on today. I know it kind of came together just as we were hitting the air here.
Yeah, that's Chisago Lake Middle School behind me. It's a school that has some safety concerns, at least the parents. So you know what I'm talking about. Maybe just a point. That third floor up there, they don't have classroom doors. They have curtains instead of doors. And so that's one of the big safety concerns that parents have. And so I've been talking to a few of them. They actually tried to get this fixed with a school referendum back in May. That didn't pass. It was part of a larger referendum with, new roofs and a lot of other stuff for the schools out here. But now they're, trying to see if there are other ways to do that. And in the wake of the shooting at Annunciation, the legislature, the governor's office, that's one of the things they've talked about is investing in school security. And so I did talk to some of them today so far, and the governor's office as well. And this is, something that they would support, is investing in more doors where there are curtains only to protect middle schoolers.
Yeah, and I did happen to see a video that you shared with us earlier that really, you say it, but then when you see the video of literally, a rod and a little curtain going into a classroom, I mean, it's kind of jarring, to be perfectly honest, right? When you see that, because it's not something we typically see, especially in the day and age that we live in. So it sounds like it's something that they put together that video. They've been working on this for some time.
Absolutely, and that was part of the campaign past that school referendum. But in it, there's a school teacher in there who works here, who is a third floor teacher, and she's like, that's something that really becomes very highlighted for the kids when we do our first safety drill here. It's like, we're not really protected. Talk to a couple of kids who are like, I want to feel safe. There are, some lesser concerns that are also concerns here, though. I mean, it's loud. If you can't close the door and you just got to know it from being aware that there's a curtain, you can hear what happens on the other side and close the door and take some of that sound away. But I think, the security of these is the biggest thing. Good note, though, honestly, this is a place where, I don't know if you can see the bikes behind me, but they don't even allow bikes. It can happen anywhere, but this seems to be a place that's relatively safe.
Yeah, interesting. So you're working on that for later tonight. So is it 5 or 6 o'clock where we'll see you? One of those or both?
Oh, so.
Both. Okay. Sounds good. Well, thanks for checking in. Appreciate it. And I'll let you get back to it. I know you were running out the door when we last saw you. So we'll see you in just a little while. Thanks, Corin. Appreciate it. All righty. Let's see. Okay, let's do it. Let's take a quick break. Yeah, let's do it. And then we'll round out the show with our friend Andrew Dukowitz to talk a little bit about the Timberwolves season opener tonight. We'll be right back. All Day Live continues right after this. Welcome back to All Day Live. Our friend Andrew Dukowitz joins us again to talk about the Wolves season opener tonight on the road. 9 p.m. is the start time. It's going to be a late night for you because also afterwards you're going to be doing the Missing Wolves podcast / livecast / what would you land on?
We're going to figure out a name at some point. Or this is just going to be the running joke for the next rest of my life. I'm not sure yet.
Sounds good. Again, late start tonight. And Anthony Edwards, we've got a questionable there. When will the team have to make that call, Andrew?
Yeah, we should be getting an email from PR, and they should be putting it out on Twitter and everywhere, probably in the next 2 or 3 hours or so. Okay. I will say, things looked positive. He did do shoot around with the team this morning, so that's always a good sign when people are out there kind of getting loose and seeing how things go. It also might be that they just keep him at questionable, see how he's feeling right before tip-off, and kind of make that decision then. Yeah. But we'll at least have some news from the PR staff in the next couple hours.
And I would normally, in the course of a season, you'd be able to say, well, this team is maybe not as big of a threat, but here we are, game one out of the gate, so it's kind of hard to know what we're even up against with the Trailblazers tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to know. I will say if there's one thing that's a benefit to Ant potentially playing today is his college teammate Toumani Camara is going to be the starting center for the Portland Trailblazers, and Ant is certainly going to want to play against a college teammate. So
for sure.
Portland, on the other, they're a scrappy team. They have some veteran pieces they added, like Drew Holiday this year. They should be a good defensive team. in that top 10 range by the end of the season. And, the Wolves, if there's one thing last season that I think fans got frustrated, it was that they felt like they played down to their competition sometimes in those games that they should win. Maybe they were a little closer. So this might be an opportunity for the Wolves to just come out of the gates and kind of exercise that demon right away.
Let's hope so. Can we talk about the point guard position? Do we know anything more now than we did, let's say, at the end of last season, which wasn't all that long ago? But do we know any more as far as, Mike Conley's the guy? What are we thinking about Rob Dillingham? And then if it's not Rob, then who?
Yeah, cheap plug. I wrote about Rob Dillingham today for zone coverage. That's over on the website. So feel free to check that out.
That's not cheap. You got to get that in there.
But I will say, unfortunately, we didn't really learn anything over the summer. Rob Dillingham is a guy that has an incredible amount of talent, whether it's ball handling, speed. His attitude is great towards the game. But he just has these kind of fatal flaws. He's a really small point guard. He turns the ball over at a pretty alarming rate. I mean, even dating back to him playing in high school, he struggled with turnovers. And that trend continued in Summer League, and that trend continued in the preseason. So if there's one thing that I guess it benefits Rob is that he is going to be given this opportunity, and he seems really determined to make the most of it. So maybe now that he's playing with better players, playing with more of the starters, that those turnovers finally get a little bit better and he can see some success. If it's not Rob Dillingham, though, they did bring Bones Highland back, who was a high mid-20s draft pick a few years ago for Denver. He's been kind of linked to Tim Connelly ever since he left Denver to come here, our basketball president of operations. And he had a really good camp. The team really seems to like him, and he's a little bit more seasoned. He's been around the NBA. This is his 4th season. So there is that break glass in case of emergency plan with Bones.
That's right. We can always turn Dante into a point guard too, right? I mean, how hard could it be? Courtney Williams did it. She's phenomenal. Okay, last thing I want to ask you about, Andrew, is just off season, off the court. It seems like, watching social media and kind of that it seems like some of these guys stayed here and really bond. I know we know Naz Reid sadly tragically lost his sister in the off season. She was murdered, and so that brought some of these guys together as well. What's the vibe off the court?
Yeah, I would first just say, Julius and Dante now are Minnesotans. They own a property in Minnesota. Dante was here all summer. He has found good coffee shops to go to on his way to the arena, which I think us in the media maybe didn't play that up as much as we could have. Of last season, like, these guys had to move across country with their families, their young children. They had to leave kind of the lives that they've established in New York. And when that happens so close to the season, you don't even know what restaurants are good. You don't know where to get your coffee. You don't know how to grocery shop. I mean, there's all these little things that get added into it that I think really affected them last year. But this year they are established. They know their neighbors. They have places they like to go, and they both spent most of the summer here. The other guys were also around the Twin Cities all summer. Ant was here a couple months early after his China tour ended with his AE1s. He joined Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, Rob, TJ Shannon, a lot of guys that just stayed here all summer working. And they, this team really enjoyed each other last season even. They have a lot of bonds that and a lot of similarities that bring them together. It's probably over asked about when we talked to Jaden McDaniels, Ant, and Naz Reid about their relationship, as they have all been here the longest, with Naz being here since 2019 and Jaden and Ant following in 2020. But they legitimately are like brothers. They do things together off the courts. Naz, after that tragic loss, said that Ant and Jaden were some of the first people that reached out to give him support, which he also chose this year, meaning Naz Reid, to stay in Minnesota for a lesser role and probably less money. And you know, having teammates like that make that a little bit easier to make those decisions.
I would love to. Let's talk about that more next time you come on, because I want to dig into that. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Get some rest, because it's going to be a long night, and we'll look for you after the game, and then we'll check back in with you later. But thanks, Andrew, for joining us.
Of course, anytime. It's always a pleasure, Amy.
Take care. All right, we'll talk soon. Okay, Natalie, as we round out here, one more minute to go, and then we are out. Are you going to stay up to watch the Timberwolves game? Yes or no?
I mean, we'll see. I have a baby at home, and so sleep is precious to me, but we will see.
I know. Okay, I won't hold you to it. It's okay. I'll watch it for you.
I know that I'll get the lowdown from you in the morning. Sure. You're always talking about the games.
For sure, yeah. We got a lot of people in the newsroom that love kind of digesting. And
I love basketball, though.
Yeah,
but it is a pretty late start time.
Yeah, this one is late, yep. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for being here, Natalie, and for helping us out today. And I believe Ryan's back tomorrow, and we're back at it. Another candidate for St. Paul mayor is going to join us, and of course we'll have all your latest headlines, live events that we're staying on top of as well. So we'll send you off, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Let's go, Wolves. You got this. You got this one. We know you got this one. Let's start off the season strong. And if you can't stay up, it's okay. We'll tell you about it tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
At mid-surgery, the patient gave surgeons an instant way to measure the success of the procedure, and by the way, it was ultimately successful. What a story. That'll do it for us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. Have a great rest of your day. All Day is coming up right now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Day Live. We're really glad that you're here with us. It's the noon hour. We take you through the next couple of hours, keep an eye on things that are going on here locally. nationally as well. As you see, one of the things that we are following closely today is what in the world is going on the Senate floor. A lot of moving parts today, but there is a vote that is scheduled at some point. First, though, they need to get through this seemingly unexpected marathon speech. And then there's questions in there as well by Senate Democrats. So we're going to bring you the very latest, get some Republican response to that as well. We are also going to, here in about 15 minutes, we're going to take you to Bemidji, where we've been following this story for some time now, but the city of Bemidji is trying to annex nearby Northern Township. We heard from a Northern Township administrator on Monday, and today we hear Bemidji side of the story. Mayor Jorge Prince is going to be joining us live shortly. The Timberwolves season opener is here. Been waiting a long time to say that. They're on the road. It's a late game, 9 o'clock start here. Oh yeah, and we may not see Anthony Edwards. We hope he's okay. We're going to check in with Wolves beat writer Andrew Dukowitz here in just a little bit. We're going to do it this hour and also next hour with Andrew, because there's just a lot to talk about here as we embark on a brand new season. And then, keeping in that sports vein, we're going to take you out to St. Thomas. Big week out at St. Thomas for those Tommies. Lauren Andrago is one of them. She's a Tommy, and she is there as they are unveiling their new arena. So we'll talk to the athletic director and check in with Lauren here in about 45 minutes or so. Next hour, we have a lot in store for you, including we're continuing our mayoral candidate profiles. This week is St. Paul, and today we're going to spend 10 minutes with Yan Chen live. So look forward to that next hour as well. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's bring you up to speed here on, sometimes we come to you at noon and there's, we look at the continuing government shutdown and there's not a whole lot to tell you about development-wise, and we still don't have an agreement here. But it's been an interesting, since we last saw you 24 hours ago. So the very latest is, it is day 22. Not a vote yesterday, nothing scheduled, and the Senate is expected to vote today. It would be the 12th time on this bill that would reopen the government, funding it through November 21st. That bill, of course, already passed in the House more than a month ago. However, there is no expectation today by either side, by anybody, that this is going to get through today as well. Republicans and Democrats still have not been able to get no movement for a long time now to get to that 60-vote threshold to reopen things. So today, here are a couple of things to know about for today. Today, Democrats asked President Trump for a meeting. They want to negotiate on their health care demands. President Trump is saying he will only meet once the government reopens. So again, vote scheduled, have no idea when that's going to happen, and that's because of what's been going on overnight into this morning. This is Senator Jeff Merkley. He's a Democrat from Oregon, and he has been talking now more or less for about 17 hours. He started the speech shortly before 6:30 last night, and as you can see, this is a time that he's using to protest President Trump, really kind of looking at his first 9 months in the second term back in office. He's got these visuals you see right there, some large green poster boards with different things on it, accusing the president of things like, quote, weaponizing the Justice Department. If this reminds you of something, it might be when Democratic Senator Cory Booker ended up setting a record for a Senate floor speech. That was earlier this year. He went for 25 hours and 5 minutes, also in protest of the Trump administration. So the GOP, well, just a couple of hours ago, we heard from some Republican leaders who were holding a news conference as well, discussing the shutdown. Again, second longest now in history. The first was 35 days. House Speaker Mike Johnson, the Republican, is still continuing, to blame Democrats, both sides blaming one another. But he said they're doing it for the wrong reasons. And also at the same news conference, Congressman Bruce Westerman of Arkansas talked about the impact that it's having on national parks and public lands. So far, remained open without reduced staffing, but he says that could change if the shutdown continues. So we'll be following that. One of the impacts that we have been taking a closer look at here locally, and maybe you've heard about this in some of the headlines here in the course of the last couple of weeks, but one that we're following here in Minnesota, Ramsey County put out this announcement, and essentially they say that SNAP and Minnesota Family Investment Program food benefits will not be issued starting November 1st until the shutdown is over. I know it doesn't feel like it's almost November, but it is. One opportunity that we wanted to share with folks is tonight in Cottage Grove. There is an event where you can go and you can ask questions, talk about these federal cuts to SNAP and to Medicaid. So we wanted to let you know this will be at Cottage Grove Town Hall. The hosts here are State Senator Judy Seeberger and Washington County Commissioner Carla Bigham, and they say that they're really going to focus on the effects of these cuts on counties across the state and also what Minnesotans might expect as a result. This is from 5:30 to 6:30 tonight, again in Cottage Grove at the Town Hall, if you wanted to attend that Town Hall meeting. All right, another meeting that we are watching today. I know meetings don't sound exciting, but a lot of times there's a lot of important stuff that comes out of it. But one of them is happening in St. Paul. So there are a couple things, and we'll get to the second piece of this a little bit later. But in St. Paul this afternoon at City Council, they're going to be introducing a gun violence prevention ordinance. And you might say, well, I've been following this and it doesn't sound like they can do that. Well, they officially, they can't technically. They can't enforce this under state law. This is an ordinance that they're putting forth that would, if they could, ban possession of assault weapons, large capacity magazines, binary triggers within the city of St. Paul. Also, ghost guns would be against the law. And then also requiring all guns to have serial numbers. So that's what they're putting forth. Now we know that state law prevents individual cities from having their own firearm bans. So St. Paul is one city. Minneapolis, there was a group of other metro area mayors who have come together. They were on the Capitol steps and said essentially if the state legislature will not make these changes, then give them, the mayors, the power to do it themselves. And this is sort of more of a symbolic ordinance that's going to be put forth here to later this afternoon in St. Paul. All right, we are watching this, and this has been bubbling up, and then we got a little bit more information here about something from last night. We are watching the possibility of an educator strike in Minneapolis. Their union is the Minneapolis Federation of Educators, and they say that an effort to reach a tentative agreement just fell short last night. So voting will start tomorrow, the 23rd. It's going to last for 4 days through the 27th to authorize a strike. Now, a strike authorization vote does not guarantee a strike, but if it's approved, then the union has to give the school district at least 10 days notice before any strike were to begin. So you can kind of do the math on that depending upon when we get the results of the strike. The union and the district are negotiating 3 different contracts for teachers, educational support professionals, and then adult educators within the district as well. So we have much more on our website about that, and we'll continue to follow that as now it looks like the voting will begin tomorrow amongst the union members in Minneapolis. Okay, this also came across our plate, and we thought, wow. And I really want to dig more into this, so maybe we can try to line this up for the next day or two. Shakopee. Big news for the Shakopee Fire Department. FEMA is giving them $2.5 million, so $2.6 million, and it's part of what's called the Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response, or SAFER grant program. It's a 3-year grant, and the headline here is that what it's going to do is allow the city to hire 12 additional full-time firefighters. So the quote from the city administrator in Shakopee, quote, "This is a transformational moment for our fire department and for public safety in Shakopee. The city has experienced tremendous growth over the past decade, and this funding helps ensure our emergency services can keep pace with that growth and continue providing the highest level of protection for our residents." So incredible when you think about that. I think I had in here, hang on, I thought I put a note in here. Hang with me 1 second here, because I think I had a note about, here we go. The Shakopee Fire Department currently is structured for 15 full-time positions, including 6 administrative staff and 9 full-time fire staff. The addition of the 12 through that grant, again, will strengthen the emergency response, but also make it possible to provide full-time staffing from Fire Station 2 for the very first time. So incredible incredible news for the community of Shakopee and the fire department specifically there that we'll definitely keep tabs on. Like I said, maybe we can try to get a guest on here in the next couple of days to talk a little bit more about that impact to the community. All right, well, let's do it, everybody, shall we? Let's talk about the Timberwolves. It's here. It's here, finally. The Timberwolves season begins tonight. It is going to be 9 p.m. our time. Get a nap in today if you can. If you're of a certain generation like me, you're going to definitely need a nap to stay up for this one. It's on the West Coast. They're in Portland taking on the Trailblazers. So joining me now is Andrew Dukowitz, who covers the Wolves for Zone Coverage and then hosts the, let me see if I can get it right, Missing Wolves livecast.
Yeah, let's call it that.
Oh no, see, I got it wrong again. That let's call it that is not good enough, Andrew. What is it for real?
No, it is the Missing Wolves. I haven't figured out if it's a podcast, live stream, or what it is yet, but it does exist, and it is called the Missing Wolves.
And when can people listen?
On days like today, where it is a late